I am Michelle Norrell, and this is Life Giving Joy. So, this is 5 things I have learned about being a mom. My oldest is turning 9 this month, and so during this time, I have been reflecting on my motherhood and just the lessons that I have learned so far in these 9 years. I just can't believe that my oldest is turning 9, and I'm like, wow, my oldest is turning 9. So I've really been thinking about this. I've been really thinking about, okay, what have I learned? What lessons have really stuck with me? What really sticks to my heart today about motherhood? What do I feel I know for sure about it? And so, number 5, I definitely feel like a lesson that I really have taken on to is you got to be the mom that you actually are. I realize that I can only be the mom I'm created to be. I'm not going to be, like my friends or anyone in particular. I'm only going to be the mom that I'm created to be. And that is enough. That is important. And so that is something that I hold on to, is that I can only be the mother that I actually am created to be. Number 4, my children are not an extension of myself. I have a soon to be 9-year-old and I have a 4-year-old, and they're their own separate human beings. They're not an extension of me. And it's important for me to view them that way. It's important for me to view them as separate individuals, that I'm not, they're not like little mini me's. Even though there's a lot of similarities, I definitely see myself a lot in my daughter, and definitely parts of me and my son, but they're still not little mini me's. They are going to grow to be fully themselves. And so that would be my 4th lesson, is that my children are not an extension of me. My 3rd lesson, and this has been a really big lesson for me, and I think still really taken on to it, is that it's okay to be a good enough mom. It is okay to be a good enough mom. I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to have all the answers. I don't need to do everything right. I'm not a robot, and I'm not going to do everything right and correctly. I'm only human. And my kids are changing. My kids are developing. I mean, my oldest is turning 9, so he's definitely changing and evolving. He's not the same as he was when he was 2 or 3 or 4, and so just knowing that I'm also evolving. I'm not the same person I was a year ago. I don't think the same way. I parent, I feel a lot differently than I did a year ago, a couple of years ago. Like, it just, each year has like something new each year. And so I just feel like, I remember I had a therapist appointment, and I was convinced that I just was not a good mom, and I'm sharing all this stuff with her. And she just looked at me and she was like, you just need to be a good enough mom. And the fact that you are caring so much about this, you are a good mom. You're a great mom. And so it just shifted the way that I thought, because I was really sending myself down this spiral. And I think when you first become a mother, you have all of these things, all these aspirations, you have all of these visions. And I know I did, and then people say things, family members, grandparents, aunties, uncles, everybody's got something to say. Everyone's got advice. Everyone's have something to offer you. And you know what? At the end of the day, you can be good enough. Be a good enough mom. I mean, for some that may sound like, what do you mean? But honestly, that is enough. I look at my kids and I'm like, wow, they really are growing. They're raising, despite, my imperfections and where I can fall short. that they're doing well. My second lesson, another big one for me, is divorcing myself from my children's behavior. How my children behave is not, that's not about necessarily me. If you have a 2 and 3 year old and they're throwing a tantrum, that's not because of something you're doing wrong. Like, that's what 2 and 3 year olds do. They throw tantrums. You know what I mean? That's what toddlers do. That's what children do. They test us. They make us laugh. They make us think. They just they just make us really go there in our minds and our hearts with our words. It's I just think that sometimes we can put so much pressure on ourselves as moms to have these perfectly behaved children, this perfectly well managed home. Marriage is bomb and everything's bomb. And it's like that's not real life. Like, real life is, my son is gonna ask me 5 times for, he's into this Nerf gun thing. He really wants that, and that's all I hear about. And he's gonna keep asking me until he gets the answer he wants to hear, which is yes. And right now, we're like, no, we're gonna do this with the money. But he's like, so it's, and my 4-year-old is going to do the same. Like, my children are very headstrong. They're very, they know what they want, and they're going to just go for it, and they're not going to give up until they have the outcome that they want. And that can be an amazing quality that I hope and pray they continue to have as adults, because resilience and being able to be determined and tenacious is amazing. Then the other side of that is like that stubbornness, like, okay, it's time to move on. But the reality is, just divorcing myself from their behavior, not marrying myself to any end result of who they become as they get older. And I really have learned this from my friends who have older children, that have adult children. And I hear, they did everything that they thought was the right thing, whatever the right thing is. We all think this way. I know I do. And we, whether we're raising our children, we're being a Christian as well. Like, there's no formula. There's no cookie cutter situation. There really isn't. And so just really not marrying myself off to how my children are going to behave, because they're going to grow up. They're going to be their own people one day. And I want to be able to be freed up in my heart and mind to, like, really be present with them in their life, and not taking their choices personal, like it's about me, making it about me, and making everything they do about me, and their behavior about, what's this say about me? What are they thinking about me? We do this as mothers. And we got to support each other as moms too. I think that's another lesson, that part B of this second lesson is really supporting my other mom friends. We need to really have each other's backs. We need to not judge one another, or or even if someone we don't know in the store, in Target, in the grocery store, or we see a mom losing her cool, not to look down on her. I know I've lost my cool. I know I've yelled at my kids. I know I've done that. That's not a space where I live, but it's a space where I have gone to. And we need to lift each other up, because being a mother is not easy. It's a blessing, but it is hard work, because it brings everything that we have already living inside of us. It brings all of that up. I know when I first became a mom, when I first had my son 9 years ago, I felt like I was being reborn. There was just so much coming out of me that I was like, whoa, this is stuff I hadn't really thought about, in my own childhood, how I was raised. So yes, please, let's support each other, and then let's also have real conversations as women. I think one of the things that I have really learned during this time, what's been a great challenge for me in my motherhood is, man, really waking up to the fact that I'm still here. I'm actually here. Yes, my children are here, but I'm still here. And I matter too. And I need to know who I am, and I need to do that. I need to know who I am and recognize. And so when I meet with other moms, my friends, or, things of that nature, having real conversations. Real conversations. There's only so long that I can talk about, you know, the organic food we're about to eat, or, I used to homeschool full time, what curriculum I'm using, and there's a time and place for these conversations. But every conversation needs to be what I'm feeding my kids, what you know what I mean, like what type of a parent am I going to be, how am I sleep training, like every conversation can't be that. For me it cannot. And I know there are a lot of other moms who feel the same, that I've talked to, that want to have real woman heart to heart talks, like how are you feeling, how are you doing, what's going on. Like it really just helps me when I'm talking to another mom and we're going there and we're getting deeper. It just helps me feel like I'm not alone, like I'm not by myself, like I could say, I see you, you see me, we support each other. It is such a blessing. So yes, please have those conversations. That is my saving grace in motherhood, really being able to do that. And then I have learned that being a mother is a role. It's not the final destination. You know, it's not the end all be all. And what I mean by that is I do not want to give my kids the full responsibility of my whole life existence. That I'm only here because of them. I'm my only way, like that doesn't work for me, because when I first entered motherhood, I thought that's the kind of mom I had to be in order to be a good mom, in order to be a loving, dedicated mother. I had to like be all about them. And what I realized, I got so burned out and I got so depressed, and I went through a mental darkness, a mental dark period. And I learned too that control is really an illusion, because my children have taught me that control is not real. I don't have the control of anything. And they remind me of that. And I'm thankful. It's a hard lesson to be reminded of, but I'm thankful because it allows me to remember to be surrendered to my God, to be surrendered and to raise them with palms open wide, not holding on so tightly. Like right now, my son, he's turning 9. He's changing. He's not, he's still my baby, but he's not my little baby anymore. And that, oh my gosh, he's not a little baby anymore. And so that really hit me. So I love him, and I'm proud of him, and I love my daughter and I'm proud of her. And, I just wanted to say that. I wanted to share these things that I have learned because I love being a mother. I love my kids. I love this. I also know that this role of motherhood is ever changing before my eyes. And no, my kids aren't adults yet. But my oldest is turning 9 this month, and so I'm just reminiscing and reflecting and remembering when I first brought him home and he was so little. And oh my gosh, I'm proud that I got to live that. And I know you are too. I know that you're proud of being a mom and being able to raise children. It is a blessing, but know that, remember that you were here before them, and remember that that is a powerful gift that we can give our kids, is that we are still remembering who we are and still remembering to invest in who we are. Take a deep breath on that. So I am Michelle Norell. This is my channel, Life Giving Joy. If this is your jam, hit subscribe. And I want to keep this conversation going with you. Leave a comment in the comments. Let me know about your motherhood journey. How is motherhood for you? What are some lessons that you are learning as a mom right now in this season of your life? You know, how old are your kids? How many kids do you have? Just how is this journey for you? And also let me know what I'm doing right so I can keep doing that in these videos. And, you know, if you want to just say hi, say hi. I welcome that. I welcome a nice, sweet hello. But have an amazing, amazing, amazing day and experience abundant, life-giving joy. Till next time.